What's going on, YouTube? Thomas L here. And there's Friday is the new Johnny English film titled Johnny English. I think it's Strike Back Again. I think that's the name. Now, it's the third installment of the Johnny English franchise, which is a spoof of the James Bond movies. So, I decided to do a top 10 list of my favorite spoof movies. Because there's been a lot of spoof movies that I've loved over the years. And so, yeah, here's my top 10 list of, best spoof movies in my opinion. All right. Coming in at number 10 will be Dance Flick. Now, this one came out in 2009 and was a spoof of, dance and musical movies. The films that they spoofed included Step Up, You Got Served, Hairspray, loads of music and dance movies were spoofed here. The lead is played by Damon Wayans Jr., who's right now on that new show, Happy Together. If you guys haven't been watching Happy Together, it's really funny. Anyway, back to this. And this is also directed by his uncle, Damon Dante Wayans. I think it's, Damon Dante Wayans directed this. It's a really funny movie. I mean, it had lots of funny jokes in it. There's loads of funny scenes. It's a really fun film. If you guys have not had a chance to watch Dance Flick, give it a go because I think you'll probably get a kick out of it. All right, coming in at number 9 is Not Another Teen Movie. Now, this is a spoof of teen movies, and it's really funny. Not Another Teen Movie is, I believe, was like the first feature film that Chris Evans was in, way before he became Captain America. And Not Another Teen Movie is a really funny gem. It came out in 2001, and I think the movie still holds up today. Like I said, it's a funny film. There's lots of funny lines in it. There's some funny scenes in it. They also did a sequel called, I think it's Not Another Teen Movie 2, I think the name was, or something like that. Don't bother with the sequel. The sequel is not really that good. The first one is where it's at. And yeah, check out Not Another Teen Movie. It's a good one. Alright, coming in at number 8 will be Superhero Movie. Now, this one came out in 2008 and starred Drake Bell. Oh, and Kevin Hart was in this as well. And not to mention the late, great Leslie Nielsen, R.I.P. Leslie Nielsen. He was the king of spoof movies. And Superhero Movie was a spoof of, superhero movies. The whole spoof was mainly spoofing Spider-Man, but instead of Spider-Man, the lead becomes Dragonfly Man. No, the Dragonfly, that's who he becomes. And they spoof other superheroes as well. I mean, you had Tracy Morgan as Professor X. There was also like a spoof of Magneto here. You even had like Fantastic Four was spoof. Lots of even I think Batman was also spoofing this as well. This movie came out way ahead of its time. I think the superhero movie was funny in 2008. I think it would have been funnier if it got released today, especially since now we're in the big, world of superhero movies. I think it's time for another superhero movie, that will spoof like Marvel stuff and all, because I think that would be funny to watch. Now, superhero movie is directed by the guy who did Airplane. I think it was either the guy who directed it or the director's son. I always forget that one, but yeah, I mean, if you guys had not had a chance to watch superhero movie, give it a go. It's really funny. All right, coming in at number 7 is Galaxy Quest. Now, Galaxy Quest is a spoof of Star Trek. Lots of people even make an argument should be made that it's actually the best Star Trek movie ever. It's a really funny film. It was directed by. Oh wait, I can't remember the director's name. So it was directed by Tim Allen. No, that was nah. Oh yeah, it was directed by Dean Parasite. I always forget the director's name. And you also had Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Alan Rickman, R.I.P. Alan Rickman. Yeah, Galaxy Quest is really funny. It's really endearing. I remember hearing rumors about a sequel to this. I wish they hurry up and do a sequel because I think Galaxy Quest sequel will be awesome. Although right now the only major Star Trek spoof we have now is that Orville show, which is really good. But Galaxy Quest is where it's at. Like even if you're not a Star Trek fan, I think you'll appreciate Galaxy Quest. All right, coming in at number 6 is Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. I always never cared for much for the name, but the movie itself is downright hilarious. It's a spoof of hood movies. Like the whole movie is mainly a spoof of Boys in the Hood. They also spoof Master Society, and the film was directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, and it starred his brothers Sean and Marlon Wayans, who are also the king of spoof movies. Don't Be a Menace is a funny movie. It has some funny lines in it. Marlon Wayans was just hysterical. Sean Wayans was good too. You even had Bernie Mac. He appeared in this. I think other cameos. But yeah, I mean, if for some ever reason you guys have not seen Don't Be a Menace, check it out. I still wish Marlon and Sean Wayans will go ahead and maybe do a sequel to this because I think it's time for another Don't Be a Menace. It would be cool to hang with those characters again. All right, coming in at number 5. Speaking of a movie that spoofs Bond, coming in at number 5 is Austin Powers. Now, Austin Powers is a spoof of like John English, Austin Powers is also a spoof of Bond. And I just simply love the Austin Powers movies. Mike Myers, he was just amazing as the role. And of course, he was also amazing as Dr. Evil. The late Vern Troyer as Mini-Me is just outstanding. Seth Green was in these films. And there was also the females in the Power movies were all played by Elizabeth Hurley. Heather Graham was in one of the Power movies, and Beyonce. Beyonce was in the last one. Yeah, Austin Powers, I just found it to be super funny. And Dr. Evil is actually a spoof on Bond's villain of both. I was mispronounced the actual character's name. But I mean, if you watch some of the not Austin, the Bond movies, you'll definitely know the connection between the Austin Powers films. I still wish Mike Myers would go ahead and do a 4th one, but we'll see what happens there. All right, coming in at number 4 is Blazing Saddles. Now, this is of course directed by Mel Brooks, who was the king of spoof movies. I love Mel Brooks films. One of these days I should do best Mel Brooks films down the line. But Blazing Saddles is pretty much a spoof of Western movies, and it was led by Gene Wilder. I recently put out I think a couple of months back, I recently put out my 10 favorite Gene Wilder movies, and yes, Blazing Saddles was on that list. It's downright funny. There's some jokes in here that I don't even think could be made today. Like the jokes in this film will literally be offensive to people today. So that's why I don't think Blazing Saddles could ever get made today. But for every reason, if you guys still have not seen Blazing Saddles, check it out. It's really funny. And I'll still watch Blazing Saddles whenever it's on once in a while because it's really rewatchable. All right, coming in at number 3 is Airplane. Now, Airplane is a spoof of disaster movies. You had Lloyd Bridges. For all you basketball fans, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in this. Oh, the late great Leslie Nielsen. Man, I miss that guy. Leslie Nielsen was just amazing when it came to spoof films. And of course, Leslie Nielsen had his classic line, "Don't call me Shirley." Come on, that's such an iconic line. And of course, the scene where passengers are smacking that woman because she was like out of control. That's an iconic scene. Family Guy made a spoof of that. The scene where Stewie was freaking out and all the town people was all smacking Stewie to wake him up. That scene was a spoof of Airplane. So whenever you're watching that scene of Family Guy, just think of Airplane. They also did a sequel, but we don't talk about Airplane 2 because that movie just was garbage. The first one is where it's at. I mean, Airplane came out in 1980, and my God, the movie it turned 40 this year. Whew. Really want to feel old? Yeah. But yeah, for some other reason, if you still have not had a chance to watch Airplane, the first Airplane, watch Airplane. It's a spoof classic. I should have added that as number 1, but there's like 2 other films I slightly enjoyed a little more than Airplane. But yeah, Airplane's still a classic. Coming in at number 2 is Scary Movie. I recently had Don't Be a Menace in my list, and that was directed by Keenan Ivory Wayans, who directed Scary Movie. And like Don't Be a Menace, this film also had Sean and Marlon Wayans. And Scary Movie is a spoof of horror films. Like the first Scary Movie was a spoof of Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, while the second was a spoof of The Exorcist, Poltergeist, and all. Part 3 was mainly a spoof of The Ring and Signs. Part 4 was like a spoof of Grudge, but I'm actually just choosing the first one. I simply love the first Scary Movie. Marlon Wayne as Shorty, come on. His role in Don't Be a Mess is awesome, but his role as Shorty is even better. Shorty has some really darn funny lines. The Ghostface killer in Scary Movie is awesome. Anna Faris, of course, was amazing as Cindy. You even had Shannon Elizabeth there. Who doesn't love Shannon Elizabeth? I mean, come on. Oh, and Regina Hall. This is actually the movie that made me become a fan of Regina Hall. She's terrific, and this is actually the movie that made me become a fan of her. But yeah, the Scary Movie franchise, more particularly the first one, is just awesome. If you guys haven't seen any of the Scary Movie franchise, check them out. They're really funny to watch. All right, coming in at number 1 of my 10 favorite spoof movies. Number 1 is a no-brainer. It's Spaceballs. Now, Spaceballs is pretty much a spoof of Star Wars, and it was also directed by the great Mel Brooks, who, like I said, is the king of spoof movies. How could you ever top Spaceballs? It has some really darn funny lines. It's a really funny movie. You even had Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet. John Candy was also in this. Joan Rivers, Bill Pullman. such an amazing casting. And I remember hearing stuff about that Mel Brooks wants to do a sequel to this. I don't know if that will ever happen because that's been talked about for like forever. But man, if Mel Brooks and company ever decides to do a Spaceballs sequel, I'm all for it. I simply love Spaceballs. Lots of people even make an argument that's the best Star Wars movie. Kind of like how most people say Galaxy Quest is the best Star Trek movie. Most people consider Spaceballs to be the best Star Wars movie. I can't really agree with that because Empire Strikes Back is still the best, but Spaceballs is still a really good Star Wars movie and a really good spoof film. And yeah, I mean, for whatever reason, if you guys still have not had a chance to watch Spaceballs, give it a go. It's really funny. I kind of hope Film Events does like a re-release of this because I'll definitely watch Spaceballs back in theaters. That would be a cool experience. And also, one of my favorite episodes of the Goldbergs recently is when Rick Moranis reprised his role as Dark Helmet from Spaceballs. I thought that episode was just off the hook, and it was pretty cool. Well, I should say, hearing Rick Moranis reprise his role, that was amazing. I miss seeing that guy on screen. I really hope he makes a major comeback. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it for my 10 favorite spoof movies. Let me do the rundown. Coming in at number 10, Dance Flick. Number 9, Not Another Teen Movie. Number 8, Superhero Movie. Number 7, Galaxy Quest. Number 6, Don't Be a Menace to South Central While Drinking Your Juice in the Hood. Number 5, Austin Powers. Number 4, Blazing Saddles. Number 3, Airplane. Number 2, Scary Movie. And number 1, Spaceballs. Now, I do find disaster movie, date movie, and epic movie more guilty pleasures of mine. I'll watch those once in a while. There's a few other spoof movies. I mean, Tropic Thunder is considered spoof. MacGruber's a spoof. Black Dynamite. Ooh, who does love Black Dynamite? Hot Shots, another Leslie Nielsen film. The Naked Gun. Monty Python, The Holy Grail. Top Secret, Young Frankenstein. Shriek, If I Know What You Did Last Summer, which, like Scary Movie, is another spoof of Scream. But yeah, that's pretty much all. Let me leave it to you guys. What are your favorite spoof movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.